Is this live?
It is.
Live. There it is. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and Barry, it's us again today. So we're going to get right into it. Sorry for the delay. We were going to start at 5, but it's a time warp. How you doing?
Let's do
Good day.
Time warp
Right now. Was that from Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yeah.
Do you remember the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yeah, I'm surprised how many people actually
I know. I did magic at it once. I was entertaining at a session of that.
Oh, yeah.
In the intermission time. Yeah. That's
fun.
I remember. It was good.
Was it back in the day whenever it first came out, or?
I guess it's probably 80s.
Okay. I think it came out like the 70s, right?
I kind of don't remember. I don't remember my past. I don't know if I block it or what. So, like I shared with you that we chopped that video up, that hour. We chopped it up and I put it up on the internet, and it got a little bit of this and a bunch of that.
Nice.
I don't know why or how, because that's the way the internet works. But the one that got the most traffic, it was like 10,000 views on it, about the homeless people in Los Angeles.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep. Another one that got a lot of traffic was the blood sausage thing.
I saw that, yeah.
And I said sausaginated, and there was some comments on there about that. Said this is my first day for hearing this new word, sausaginated. I must have made it up.
Nice.
But it was interesting because normally with the long form video, you don't get interaction because people don't have time to watch a whole hour of stuff.
Right. We did get some interaction last time, so if anybody wants to interact this time, feel free. I can't remember.
You mean there was somebody on the live?
Yeah, somebody was on the live.
Your friend,
and there was a couple of questions, but I honestly
I can't remember either because we
didn't see him till the end of last time.
We go all over the board. I mean, this is kind of like a Joe Rogan-ish type podcasty thing.
That's
we
true.
don't really have any focused niche like how to make money on the internet, or how to find women, or how to cook blood sausage. There's no topic here, so we just kind of go all over the place. And we're gonna. This morning, I started thinking about stuff like conspiracy theories and what was some of the other stuff, like the deep fake stuff.
Oh, the deep fakes. Yeah, those are weird.
You can't tell what's real anymore. The artificial intelligence stuff that's happening now, I think a lot of people don't think deep enough on what's happening with all that. They think, oh, this is kind of cool. I can, have it do it for me. Ta-da.
So since in my former life I was doing network security, I still get alerts. And I got an alert, I think it was like 3 months ago or 4 months ago. And it was an article. And it was talking about how for the very first time ever, the fakes were so good, you can tell the difference between real and fake. And they were saying that the deep fakes that were coming out now, that basically the last 3 months, they're so good, even whenever you plug it into a machine, the machine can't tell. Mm-hmm. So they're saying that there's no way to validate video.
Right, and then the controversial part of some of that is the facial recognition stuff that happens. They're relying on that kind of stuff, and the failure rate on it is like 50-50. It's like flipping a coin. So
yeah.
Remember the movie Minority Report? Mm-hmm. Where people get accused of something, predictive analytics kind of stuff? So that kind of crap that can start happening where all of a sudden, hey, you're under arrest. Why? What did I do? I was just at Burger King.
No, we have you on video.
We have a video.
So. Yeah, and it's all doctorable now. Yeah, it's pretty intense. In fact, with CRISPR technology, I don't know if you're familiar with CRISPR.
Not.
So CRISPR is the way that they actually edit DNA. They can actually go in and do micro editing of various things like RNA and DNA and things like that.
Okay. Creepy stuff.
Yeah, creepy stuff. Exactly. Yep. And so that's it. It's basically black market. It's easy. Like basically for like $15,000, you can set up something in your basement to do this kind of stuff. Splicing genes and weird stuff. It's like, it's not really that expensive, but it's because of CRISPR. And essentially, what they now found was people are actually manufacturing fake DNA for crime scenes and stuff. So people are getting smart with how they're using all of this. So video evidence can't really be relied on anymore. DNA evidence can't be relied on anymore. And we know if you go into the conspiracy theories, Operation Bluebeam is what you would have to look up. But we've seen it in real life, masks or holographic images or things like that are so effectual, you're not even sure with what you're seeing in real life either. Right. So we've gotten to the point where realistically it's become actually more difficult than it used to be to prove that somebody did something.
Well, a lot of people don't realize how harmful it is because they think it's just a prank.
Mm-hmm.
And people are doing all these prank videos and stuff. Or they're doing something where these gold diggers are picking up guys that have, high exotic cars and stuff.
Yeah.
And you can tell that it's faked thing. The girl's in on it, the guy's in on it, and they're making it look from a distance. And you can kind of tell that they're in on it because they're both mic'd.
Yeah.
And there's a photographer.
Right.
So, but people fall into that stuff because they don't. It's the magic, the deception of the magic. They think, oh, yeah, that girl is gold digger for that guy. Right. It's not real. And that got a concern with me because of that weird stuff. And now you're talking about being able to 3D print DNA that's not even real.
Yeah. Well, not 3D print, but yeah, with CRISPR.
But I just said that because they got that kind of thing, 3D printer person, you can 3D print their teeth, rack of teeth.
Yeah.
That would have been done deal.
Exactly. I mean, that was an old school thing. That's been around since 1970s. They would actually, people who would go commit murders and stuff, like the ice pick man, different he was called the ice pick man or something like that. But he was world famous infamous, I should say. He ended up being one of the most high paid assassins in the entire world at the time frame. And they found him and he was talking about how he got away with it for so many years. Yeah. He got away with it for so many years.
See, that's one phase of all this stuff where someone does stuff and they get creative and they get away with it.
Yeah.
There's a new phase of stuff where stuff is just going to artificially, intelligently create stuff, and you're going to be guilty of something that you have no idea how it even happened.
Right.
For what reason.
Like minority.
And it's, yeah. And the thing is it's, how fast it is to cut and paste.
Mm-hmm.
You can cut and paste out a whole bunch of stuff really quick, thousands and thousands of words. So a piece of software can duplicate another piece of software almost instantaneously.
Yeah.
And that's what's got me a little bit concerned with all that stuff. Being a magician, people can be deceived. And now they're being deceived and it's nobody's the deceiver.
Right.
That's the creepy part.
Yeah.
And at first people thought, the robots aren't going to take over like iRobot and all that kind of stuff. Robots aren't going to take over. Well, it ain't going to be the robots. It's going to be the humans that are reading data that they think is true, and it's not, and then they're going to react on it. You're the one that raped my daughter. No, I'm not. I wasn't there.
Right.
But the AI created it.
Mm-hmm.
Out of, because whoever developed the program is only 50% accurate. So it just, look, who looks kind of like this person? Oh, that guy's got 2 eyes. Yeah. That guy's got 2 ears. Yeah. He's got 1 mouth. Ah, it's him. Yeah. So everybody's gonna be a bunch of stick figures being blamed for everything.
Right. Yeah, it's very creepy. It is very creepy. But yeah, I mean, we're in a brave new world. I mean, literally the movie or book, Brave New World. Mm-hmm. We're in it right now. It's
in the Truman Report.
Yep.
All that stuff.
Our technology has become so advanced, we're not even sure who it is that originated any of it anymore. You know what I mean?
The nice thing about what we're doing right now is we're speculating all this stuff. We don't know either way. So YouTube can't kick us off here because we're claiming that something is the truth. So we're in a neutral space. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very fascinating though. The technology as it's been developing, there's also a bunch of other really fascinating technology that I've been seeing. There was a demo about 9 months ago. I haven't seen anything mainstream about it, but I saw it on various different social media platforms. There was a company that was creating, basically it was about, I would say, like a container, like a train car container. It's about that sized. And they were creating the very first fissionable material reactor that's supposed to go. Now, it doesn't sound like what it is. Like I'm using the wrong words here. But basically, they're going to transport to Mars, okay? And this particular device took material into it. And then they would hit a button, and it would use lasers and plasma in order to strip the stuff in it all down to its base molecules. So there was a company a while back that named StarTech that used to make a device like that. It was a plasmification device, and it actually took garbage in, and then it used the plasma generator, to burn all the material up, and it could put out more energy than it was getting in. And they also were able to do other things with it. It creates this gas called syngas. It's a mixture of all these different molecules, and it's combustible because it's now volatile. So if you feed it back into the fusion reactor, it now is putting out more energy than you're taking in. So it was very fascinating. So here's the point. So here they're going at the so they were able to strip down all of this stuff to its base molecular structure, and then they used lasers. Sounded like it was using green lasers, and set up in an array to recombine those molecules into various different things. And we're talking about full-on Star Trek replicators here. Bottom line.
Okay, so it goes through and it finds all the different elements and molecules and things. It says, I want to create some of this stuff. And here is beef, and here is gold, and here is water.
Say you have a broken phone. You put the broken phone in there, and you have these slabs of iron or whatever. You're putting all this in the machine. It strips it all into its base material. And you're like, we're going to create, we're going to create a new microprocessor. Okay, well, what materials do you need for that? Well, let's see, we need gold. We need some platinum. We need some silicon, and then we need some steel because we have to create a framework for like all of this to work on, and it'll just go swoop, and it just creates it all, like literally out of nowhere, and you just go, okay, now we can put it all together.
Yeah, it's like Star Trek stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy, really insane stuff. And there's also some other technology that they've been talking about, which is healing technology, where they're talking about, it's Tesla made these like Tesla beds that are out there, and there's a few other things like that are supposed to be like so advanced that literally you just go sleep in them and they repair your DNA and stuff.
I saw a thing is just about using linen sheets instead of like synthetic type sheets, and you sleep better because the static charge that's in linen versus other stuff.
Yeah, I don't know about the linen sheets thing. I do know a lot of people talk about
I don't either. There's one of the things about these people that create this bullshit. Because I remember what it was there was a guy that was talking about this on his YouTube podcast, and he was talking about it. I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. And then a little bit later, he did say, oh, by the way, if you're interested in it, I got a link below. So it might be bullshit that he's saying about whatever it is, just to be able to sell it.
I don't know if I would go to saying it's bullshit. I mean, everything does have a frequency, and we've proven over the many years that frequencies electronic frequencies and frequencies around us in our environment, natural frequencies. So like, if you go into a cave that's like full of crystals that are resonating at a certain frequency, it can make you feel like creeped out. Like things like that, they affect us. Yeah. And in fact, certain high frequencies can actually explain paranormal activity.
I was just going to bring that up. That was part of the topic with the UFO element in it.
Yeah.
We can't see UFOs because they're not in a spectrum that we can see, because there's only certain colors that we can see in a certain spectrum. There's only certain sounds that we can hear in a sound spectrum.
That's one of the claims. We're not cuttlefish. Cuttlefish have some of the best spectrums that they can see in.
So they're
studying them.
Yeah,
because they can see in this huge range of spectrum.
So there could be all these what we call aliens that people can't see unless you're vibrating at the right frequency, which might be an insanity frequency. Or some people might think it's insanity just because you start saying, "I was abducted by an alien."
There's this guy I follow on YouTube and TikTok. It's Museum of Terror is the name of the guy, or is the name of the channel, I should say. He's a neuroscientist, and he studies all this weird stuff. Like he studies it, really studies it. So he's out there on Skinwalker Ranch and all these famous places where phenomenon happen. He studies it all, and he goes back and reads all secret government documents that got declassified and just find all this material. And he has this product called dicyanine goggles, which they were popular many years ago, but they're not usually made with dicyanine. They're usually made with something else, because dicyanine was actually had a very specific process to it that wasn't really super stable. And so he's basically modernized the product. So he creates these dicyanine goggles. Well, looking through them, it actually lets you see frequencies of energy. Like there's an enhanced spectrum it lets you see in some ways. Everything, of course, looks purple whenever you look through it, but you can kind of see this almost shimmer around people when you have it on. They call them aura goggles as well, because you can actually see a shimmer around living things. The cool thing about it is, and this goes to the aliens, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people who are using the dicyanine goggles who, as they're going around, they're like, "Oh, this is cool." They'll look up and they'll be like, "What the hell is that?" And they'll see things fly in the sky, right, that you can't see without the goggles on. And they'll be like, "Are those always there?"
That's kind of what I'm talking about. It's kind of like a radio station. If you can tune into the right radio station, it's there. I didn't know that channel was there.
Yeah.
You know how to find KQ92, but there might be something that's next to it that some guy's public address system or something. AM radio, or the AM radios.
And I don't get paid for the dicyanine goggles or anything like that. So if you want to go look the guy up and go do your own research on that, feel free. It's actually pretty fascinating. The mind-to-mind device that he has too, he teaches you how to make one. It's pretty fascinating.
All that stuff is pretty fascinating when all of a sudden your brain goes outside of your current reality. Well, you can kind of imagine, because they've got those dog whistles. Supposedly dogs can hear them, you can't.
I can hear them.
You can hear them?
I can hear dog whistles.
But it makes sense.
Especially during a full moon.
Wolf whistle, that's a different thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean though.
The idea of things that are vibrating at a frequency that you're not used to seeing. So if you start vibrating at that frequency, did you ever read the book, The Celestine Prophecy?
I don't think I read that one.
Okay. I read it a while back, and at first it was a spiritual book. I was on my spiritual path, so I wanted to learn about the spiritual stuff. So I got the book, and I started reading it, and I go, this isn't about chakras and all that stuff. This is like vibrating plants. And all of a sudden I read further, and I go, oh, I get it. This is the frequency of all the stuff. And people would vibrate at a certain frequency, and then they would ascend.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about that right
now. The plants and they talk a little bit about ayahuasca and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Plants are, there's auras around plants, and they're communicating to the jungle, and the jungle's telling them what to do, where to go, and there's these different insights. So it goes up to the 8th insight, then there's the 9th insight, the 10th insight. And there's all these religious figures that are trying to not let them find these scrolls, these insights, and all this stuff. So
Yeah.
when I first started reading, I thought, oh, this is fiction. And then I got, oh, I get it. They're talking about that kind of energy work kind of stuff. I somewhat believe in all that kind of stuff. So I don't know where I was going with that, but it's that kind of thing that all of a sudden you, again, think outside of the box kind of thing. And how somebody could disappear when all of a sudden they just ascended to heaven or wherever.
Yeah.
Because they were now vibrating at a certain frequency and they were gone.
Right.
Where'd everybody go?
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, I mean, thousands of years ago, we have very interesting records just before, just before the Dark Ages, where our records were not so great. But basically, they would talk about people who could teleport, or move long distances. They would talk about this kind of stuff in there. And a lot of them would explain, like, it would look like they just stepped through something in space. It was step, like, and it would be.
You mean like a portal?
Like they stepped behind something, except it just doesn't look like there's anything there. And
there's nothing, there's just air, they just walk through it.
Yeah.
It isn't a wall, it's like air, nothing.
Yeah, it was like they stepped somewhere else. Yeah, it's very interesting. And if anybody knows anything about magic or anything like that, not stage magic, but the more woo
Magic with a J.
And there you go, magic with a J, or MAGICK. Yeah. So in traditional forms of magic, which now the modern term, I guess, would be necromancy for it, the ultimate form of like that magical practice is to be able to step into worlds at once. So apparently, like, in theory, you could get yourself elevated to enough of a space where your spirit and your body are existing on both sides of the veil at the same time. So, like, basically in this world, having the spirit world.
Sort of an out-of-body experience?
No, not an out-of-body experience, because you're physically able to span the whole spectrum. So, in theory, this goes to what we were talking about, the teleportation stuff. In theory, they're able to step through the veil and back out in different places in space.
There was just a movie about that. I went and saw it. I forgot what that movie was called.
Interesting.
I just recently saw this movie. I forgot what it was called. You guys remember.
That's right. They know.
But it was that kind of thing where a person can leave a certain time and go back to a different time.
Yeah. I would imagine if that was true, it would probably look something like Lucy. Have you ever seen a movie? It's this gal who gets exposed to a drug that basically is supposed to accelerate the brain. And she is forced to be a mule for a drug cartel. And or actually, I think it's more like triads. But anyways, so they cut her open, they put it in, the drugs in, and then some guy, one of the bad guys, tries to take liberties with her, and she basically is like, "You know, go away." And so he throws her on the ground and kicks her in the stomach, and the wound breaks the bag open, so she starts leaking all this drug inside of her. And at first, it gives her these like really bad seizures, but then it starts to awaken more of the brain. That old theory, we're only using about so much of our brain.
Sure.
and starts to awaken more of the brain, and then she starts to evolve, and she evolves to the point to where literally like time and space are not a thing. She's just like teleporting to other places, and
Right.
she knows exactly what's going to happen. She suddenly knows all languages and how to work computers without needing a computer. And
I like movies like that. I haven't seen that one, but those kind of things that make you think differently.
yeah,
Like
and
Interstellar or
yeah,
Memento.
it's got an interesting ending. I really actually like Lucy's ending. So if you do like those kind of movies, I'd pick it up. It's a pretty trippy movie.
Netflix.
I think it is on Netflix. Yeah.
So when I was asking you about the title, the topics for today,
Yeah.
you shot out something that's totally different, and we haven't talked about that yet. But that was what I titled it.
New Year's resolutions.
New Year's resolutions for 2024. Even though New Year's is kind of, what did you do for New Year's? Anything?
No, I have a newborn. So, we stayed up till midnight. That's what we did. And that was more than I did last year.
That's more than I did.
Yeah, I didn't. Last year, I wasn't able to stay up till midnight, but I was tired. I actually fell asleep on accident. And this year, though, we were up till midnight, and so we celebrated the New Year. But yeah, New Year's resolutions and the mindset, and that's what I really want to talk about was mindset, because a lot of people go into a New Year setting New Year's resolutions and they do it wrong. And here's what I mean by that. They're coming into it setting New Year's resolution about how they're going to do something. But they're already failed. They've already failed because they're going to do something instead of being in the action. You know what I mean?
What is mindset to you? So we can get on the same page of what mindset is.
Well, in this particular case, it's about, I guess it would be willpower, because you're talking about, when you're talking about mindset in this particular context, a lot of people get these like New Year's resolutions or other different things that they want to do, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm guilty of that too. Oh, I want to do that. I'm going to do that. Those types of things, but they're all in the future. Well, because of the entities that we are, future doesn't exist. That's a hallucination. So is the past. Neither one of those things exist. All you have is now. So if you're going to do something, you're not going to do it.
Right.
Because it's in the future.
You have to act as if. To me, mindset is sort of a thermostat. It's where your mind is set. Mm-hmm. And you can't think out of it. So in your case, my goal is to make $100,000. Well, you're already defeated because you're going for it. And you never get there because you're always wanting it.
Right.
So wanting something and having it is a different situation. So if you can emotionally feel the $100,000, then all of a sudden it starts popping into place.
Right.
So that's a different mindset than wishing. Because that was the big problem with this movie, The Secret. Everybody's talking about, I've got a Ferrari in my driveway.
Since I've seen that, but yeah.
But that's what a lot of people were, there was a controversial issue over that, because some people were hoping to acquire their dreams, manifest, and others were saying you need to take some action. You can't just hope for it.
Right.
Because we are in the physical world, if you want that $100,000, you want to get that retreat center, or you want whatever it is, you got to figure out what those dimensions are, how many rooms are in there, and how far is it away from my house, and if I need the money, am I going to pay for it, or is somebody else going to philanthropically gift the money to you, or is the property going to be a partnership? And you need to get really, really clear on that, so the universe knows what the hell you're asking.
Yeah,
because it will give you what you want, and if it's not real clear, you'll get jumped. Yeah. I shared with Elizabeth that I had manifested this girlfriend back in the 90s. And it was one of those love-hate relationships. And after we broke up, I was going through some old computer files. I had an old 512 Macintosh with the little, what is it, 3.5-inch discs, floppies in there.
Floppies, yeah.
I had pulled this short story that I had wrote. It was called The Natural Beauty.
Mm-hmm.
I won't go into the whole details of it, but basically the story described that woman. Everything from, fake hair, fake makeup, fake implants, fake fingernails, all that stuff was in there. And I had manifested that exact woman. So now I've got Monica. And what I did with that was I got clear. I said, no drinking, no drugs, no tattoos, no piercings, no kids, and natural. And that's basically Monica, other than she's got one child, she's got pierced ears, and once in a while she'll have a glass of wine, a couple of years. So I got exactly what I was wanting because I got real clear on it.
Right.
And if you don't get clear on it, the universe is going to deliver it to you, and you're going to go, what the heck is this? How come my life's not working?
Right.
You start manifesting shit you don't want.
There's a lot of people who are really into manifestation right now. In fact, there's a lady that we went and met. I was telling you earlier about that we're going to be setting up a retreat. It's actually going to be a grief ritual with Toby Christensen, who was a follower of Malidoma Somé. So if any of you want to look those people up, you can look it up. Malidoma Somé is an African shaman who basically ended up doing a lot with the Western world because of his upbringing. Don't want to spoil his story for you though, because his book is a very interesting read. But anyhow, so Toby Christensen, he was Malidoma's best friend for a long time, and actually was inducted into his tribe, and they did a whole ritual around it and everything with this tribe, and brought him into his family. So he's actually considered his brother, and he's doing an African grief ritual here in April. We're going to actually hold it on April 5th. And the place, going back to manifestation, the place we're going to hold it at, I've been looking for a place now since spring. We've been trying to look for a place that would be great for holding this African grief ritual. Well, the thing is that you need to be kind of specific. At first we found a place that was outdoors, and it was a very primitive type situation. And we were like, oh, that'd be perfect. And he goes, nope. The people are going to be tired and exhausted. You're going through this ritual with all of them. And if you go through this entire ritual, they're going to be so exhausted that that you need them to be comfortable afterwards. And there has to be a place to cook food. So
there's a good example.
You're cooking for a large.
You need to have all the parties involved that are manifesting this thing so they're all on the same page.
Right.
You might manifest the wrong thing for somebody else.
Exactly. So over and over and over again, I kept being thwarted on trying to find, a place because, as I'm learning more and more things about what's needed, I'm finding I don't have anything like that. So we're going out there and we're trying our tail off to try and find these people. And all of a sudden it pops up. And this lady, she has the perfect place. It sleeps easily 14 people. And that's with everybody in the bed. Easily sleeps 14 people. And she does like little retreats there and everything else. And this weekend coming up, she's actually going to be doing a manifestation workshop where they actually all talk about manifestation. They all work on it together to try to help manifest each other's dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So they're having a whole manifestation workshop there. But anyhow, it manifested our dreams at the same time because we've been looking for this for a long time. I've been wanting to learn this African grief ritual. To learn it straight from the horse's mouth is going to be amazing. So I'm really happy that that's going to be going on. It was totally that way. I mean, it was out of left field. It was totally out of left field that it ended up happening. But it was exactly what we were looking for.
It kind of was, but it kind of wasn't.
Yeah.
The universe was ready to deliver.
Yep.
You were in.
It was ready.
You had split energy. The universe didn't know what to give you. You kept on talking back and forth. The universe is saying this, and you're going to know this, and wasn't in alignment.
Yeah.
That's the mindset part.
The universe is time. That's another thing, right? I mean, you might want something, but it always comes on the universe's time. It's not necessarily on your time.
Kind of, but I think the universe will, I believe, deliver immediately if you would have all your ducks in a row.
Yeah.
Like you'd say, this shaman guy didn't want to do it outside. You did want to do it outside. There's a conflict of interest there.
Right.
The universe is not ready to deliver it. I can't do that because there's no such thing as an inside-outside.
Right. But yeah, so it was basically like June, then July went past, and I'm like, okay. And then we thought we were going to do something in August, and then it didn't work out then. And then finally, like literally every single person involved was just like, it's all right. The energy's just not on you right now. And we're like, all right, okay. I really hate to put a, tack in it, but here we go. And I'm like, all right, we're just gonna push the pan in, and we're gonna go ahead and let that go for a little while. And then I was like, basically at a standstill for the last 2 months. And I know I was having a new baby and all of that, but at the same time, there's so much that we've been trying to do, right? There's just a lot that you need to get done. And I'm like, okay, here's a whole list of things. Literally everything went on hold. And then January rolls around, and I'm like, I don't know why this isn't working. First week of January is done now. We're heading into the next week. Literally, it rolls over to Saturday. So it was this Saturday. And all of a sudden, 5 things I've been waiting on all fell into place.
So what was it that shifted in your mindset, and not just your mindset, but my mindset? What was it that shifted in that?
I honestly can't tell you. That's a very interesting.
Well, part of it sounds like it was that African dude, the shaman, that clarified that this needs to be indoors.
Well, that was back in July.
Oh,
yeah, that was a while ago.
I'm just curious to know what it is that aligns.
I have a sneaking suspicion that that the universe knew better than me about what my needs might be right after my baby was born.
Sure.
And I have a sneaking suspicion that that's the case because.
Well, there's where the universe is going to go. Are you in your freaking mind? This isn't the time to do this. Chill out a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of one of those things where it didn't really fall into place when I thought it would. And there's other things that fell into place too last year that like I've wanted to do for a long time. So like working professionally with plant medicine. So everybody can say all day long, I've done a bunch of drugs. I know what I'm doing, right? Or I have had experiences where I've learned about this kind of stuff and, I know what I'm doing. But it's a whole other thing to take a class. You're taking a class with literally the people who wrote the book on it, and you find that you're not only able to keep up with them, but you can actually teach them a thing or two. And then you're going, okay, maybe this really is the path I should go down. And that happened this last year. My wife finally prodded me to go take a course, and it was like that kind of eye-opening. And that's what prodded me to start looking into learning these African grief rituals, of course, leading to all of this. But it wasn't until Saturday that everything opened back up again. It's like literally, it's like every single door was shut and locked until then. And then all of a sudden, they just all opened all at the same time. And here it is Monday, right? So it's like literally like, here we are. Now we're just going to give it to you all at once. And here we are Monday, and now I got a call for an interview I've been trying to get a hold of since November. I got a call on the way home from the hospital after having the baby. I got the call about that they were interested. But with a whole bunch of things that happened, it's been on hold since then. So
I wonder if that situation, not to put any bad karma into it, But what if this situation is to tell you, no, this isn't going to work because you've got this other project?
I don't know.
And all of a
It's
sudden,
possible.
or is whatever this project that this guy's going to call out the interview, what if it's in alignment with what you're supposed to be creating somehow?
That would be interesting, and I have no idea how.
That's what you got to be open.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden those guys might go, "Oh my God, I'm really excited about doing this interview because I had this dream last night."
Right.
Those are the weird things. So I wanted to shift gears a little bit into another project that I'm talking with your wife at the First Thursdays thing, because I had this project of a coffee shop.
Yeah,
I
she was
didn't know
telling
that
me
you
about that.
wanted to have a coffee shop.
It was the first business plan I ever put together. I put together this business plan. I was 21 when I put it together.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I was looking into some of this stuff because I had this idea for, the big vision for it is a private club coffee shop.
Yeah.
It's not really your typical place. And it ends up being in a warehouse area. When I started pulling this stuff together, all of a sudden I found the warehouse. It's in Fridley. It's close.
Nice.
That's what I was looking at. And all that stuff starts coming together really, really fast. So when Elizabeth said you had an interest in that, I started looking and researching it some more. And it turns out that there's a lot to be known about creating coffee, let alone the business plan and all that stuff.
Right.
And you need to know how to repair these coffee grinders and these espresso machines. And that's not part of my plan.
There's really a lot that goes into it. Yeah,
There is.
It's kind of interesting.
And then I was listening to these guys about, to do this, you got to make sure you got to do this and that. And if you got a lot of money, you can hire a general manager and they kind of just take care of it all. And they said, but you've got to be able to find the right person. But if you use this mindset manifestation stuff we're talking about, and you get real clear on, I want a general manager that's got an interest in magical entertainment and spirituality, and knows a little bit about something about coffee, and is looking for an opportunity that isn't necessarily a salary, but a earned income kind of concept. And if you get real clear on what that person is going to pop into the space somehow. So when I was sharing this with Elizabeth about that, she said, you have an interest in a coffee shop. Maybe there was a connection there somehow.
Right. Yeah, we'll definitely have to talk about that.
Yeah. Because my idea was, I didn't want to just all of a sudden, okay, I'm going to go take out a loan and I'm going to find a bunch of equipment. And it's going to be a $50,000 or $100,000 project. And I got to figure out how to sell freaking coffee. I have a different plan for all that. So I scaled it all back into starting with a cart. Now you got a cart for a couple $1,000, maybe $5,000 or $10,000.
Ain't gonna cost you that much.
Depends on what you do.
Yeah.
What kind of machines you got in there.
It costs you that much. It costs you about 10 if you were doing a coffee truck.
Well, that was the next level,
Yeah.
next phase. First part was the cart, and just the basic essence of what I'll speak this out to the universe too. Is the idea is it's a coffee experience. It's not just going and getting a coffee because you like the coffee. It's a magical experience. So if you want, you can sit down in a chair, and there's magicians that are there that do magic while you're enjoying it. So the whole thing is a magical theme.
Oh,
so
nice.
It's like a coffee cart that's a theme park kind of thing.
Interesting.
And you can set up at farmers markets and fairs and festivals, and then also private catering for special events. So those are different revenue streams to this co-op, because this concept is owned by the people.
Okay.
It's not a bank loan.
Yeah.
It's created by the people that are members. And there's an affiliate program tied in it, so you have a financial incentive to share the membership with other people. And now these people can also actually work. If a person wanted to be the general manager at the distant coffee shop, or they want to be the truck driver, or the mechanic for the truck, or a barista for the cart, or they were artistic and they wanted to create the cart, create it and make it look magical instead of a tin, stainless steel thing. Let's do something cool with it. So I just threw that stuff out there.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I mean, I think that there's a lot of like serious opportunities that are out there for people in their dreams and manifesting.
There are these things that are happening weird, and this is a whole nother topic maybe we can talk about at the next show, but the whole thing about this new banking system and stuff, the whole digital currency, and is it good, is it bad?
Oh yeah, I have stories about that one because I worked on a project. This is one of my 2020 projects. My wife and I, she runs the photography studio here. and her and I together, we do branding. So with the branding side of it, we had a client. I won't say who the client is or anything, but an intrinsic portion of that had to do with the quantum financial system. And the quantum financial system at that point, like nobody knew about it. And I'm talking to these people, like, oh, yeah, the quantum financial system. I'm like, oh, yeah, I actually do know a little bit about that. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. And whenever I was working on my network engineering, I was actually laying some of the initial, I didn't lay down the fight, but I was supporting the equipment that was going towards a lot of this initial rollout that was moving into this new financial system. Mm-hmm. And the first things that they connected was the stock markets and the banks, right? Because everything has to be perfectly time-stamped and everything else. Well, one of the phenomena that they were finding whenever they started using the qubit is that whenever they would send the information to another side, was that you would actually, it would arrive sometimes before you actually get sent. And so it was kind of fascinating. It was because of the quantum entanglement, though, because they use quantum entanglement to be able to do it. So whenever you hit the button, sometimes it would arrive there, like literally a brief before.
We have another 5 minutes, but that was some other stuff that popped in too. There's
we'll roll into that, but I have fascinating stories about all of that, all the stuff that I found. It ties into aliens and everything. It's so fascinating. It really is.
It is. It's a bizarre, weird thing.
It is. It's really bizarre. There's so much conspiracy theory behind it, but then on top of that, not only is there this like conspiracy theory behind it, but also like even the people who are implementing the technology, a lot of them swear up and down it's not earthly technology, that it's actually technology that was given to us, and nobody knows how it works. I'm talking about the very experts in the industry are like, yeah, we don't really understand how it works.
Well, people have been programmed to think about this conspiracy theory and the tinfoil hat person that's crazy. But a conspiracy is something that is conspired. It's planned out.
Right, we're conspiring right now.
People plan things out.
Yeah.
And now it's a theory, like theology. Mm-hmm. It's not proven, but it seems kind of probable. Mm-hmm. So conspiracy theories are not crazy.
Right. And they're totally not crazy.
It's become very obvious with some of the things that have happened over the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So with that, we can maybe sign this off. You guys got to tune in more often because I think we got some other cool stuff that's happening.
You should check to see if we have any comments. I'm not sure we do today, but
I'll take a peek.
We had comments last time and we missed the opportunity to be able to answer them because we didn't know until afterwards because we're so used to having 1 or 2 people watching us.
No comments and no viewers. This was broadcasted on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube.
YouTube.
All right. Okay. That's it. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be good, be kind, be nice, be safe. Did I say be safe? Be safe.